Hello everyone. Sorry about that, but welcome to the unintentional second part of our part 2 of Crochet Critters, where we're going to make our little owl guy. Seems something must have happened where the video shut off, so we're adding a second part to part 2 so that we can get through our project. So when we left off, we had just finished row 7 and we're checking to make sure that we had the 24 stitches we're supposed to have for row 7. So let's count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 was on the stitch marker. So now we are going to go to round 8, and round 8 will also be the same thing we do for rounds 9 and 10. So rounds 8 through 10 will all be the same stitch pattern where we're just doing that straight single crochet stitching all the way around so that we retain those 24 stitches, and then we're just building our project up instead of out. So we're just going to go around and do our 24 stitches for rows 8, 9, and 10. So let's get our first stitch here. Remember, with our decreasing, all the ones that lift up are with that decrease, so that next one there is our first single crochet after a decrease. Single crochet. We want to insert our stitch marker. And then continue our round of single crochets. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through again. And we just keep doing those single crochets all the way around. And the nice thing when you're just doing this straight single crochet stitching all the way around is it helps you kind of find your groove with it. So you can just keep going. Helps improve your skill sets. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. It was a little tight. So a little past halfway on round 8. You can kind of tell where the decreases are as you go, because those ones will be a little bit tighter, a little bit trickier to get your hook into. Right, and then last stitch. Round 8. Should have our 24 stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 on the stitch marker. That was round 8. Round 9, same thing, 24 single crochets. First stitch. Get our stitch marker. And then just like row 8, continue that single crocheting all the way around. Insert yarn over, done. Also again. Sometimes you just gotta readjust your finger placement a little bit. It's also good as you're doing these amigurumi type projects because it's a lot of small futzy work to stretch your fingers out. If they start to get tired or just in between stitches, it's good to stretch if you're feeling that tension in your fingers because they are working on these very small projects. Right. Last stitch for round 9. And double check that we have 24. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 19, 20, 22, 23, 24 on the stitch marker. Right, now we're on to our last row of just single crocheting, row 10. So again, we're going to do those 24 stitches all the way around. First stitch in there. marker. And if you really enjoy working on these types of projects, especially these small amigurumi ones, or just crocheting in general, there are plenty of great how-to projects, both on YouTube that have nice, easy patterns to follow, and they give you instructions along the way, just like we're doing. And we also at the library have some really great amigurumi project books, as well as some crochet project books. I definitely have a few favorites. Actually, that succulent crochet amigurumi project that I showed you at the beginning, I got the pattern from one of the books in the Winding Rivers collection. So I would highly recommend, if you're interested in enjoying and want to continue learning the different types of things you can make using these methods, to check out the catalog and get some amigurumi crochet books so you can start kind of doing some projects there. Almost nearing the end of that last row of straight single crochets. Last stitch. Right. So now we want to double check that we have those 24 stitches for row 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 on the stitch marker. Now we're going to move on to row 11, which will be 2 single crochets and then 1 decrease, so that at the end we have a total of 18 stitches. So we'll remove our stitch marker. First single crochet. Put our stitch marker back. That was stitch 1, so now we need 1 more single crochet before we do our decrease. So now our decrease, where we're going to grab those 2 front loops of our next stitches. pull through again. And our next stitch is going to be this one right here for our 2 single crochets. 1, 2, and then our decrease, front stitch, front stitch, and then 2 single crochets, and a decrease, two single crochets, decrease, two single crochets, two, decrease, front stitch, front stitch, two single crochets, and last decrease. That was round 11. We should have 18 stitches at the end of that round. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 on the stitch marker. And kind of give our tail a last little pull to be sure that it's nice and sealed, and you can kind of tuck him in the bottom so he stops getting in the way. And then we'll want to grab another stitch marker for our working loop, because we want to add our eyes to our project. And to do that, first we've got to grab our eyes that we did at the beginning. So our two little guys on our felt. And then what we'll want to do is kind of fold it flat so that that last stitch is right at the end. because we want to put our eyes right in the middle here. So there'll be a little bit of just kind of judging it a little bit. But we do want to count because we want to put the eyes between rows 8 and 9. So our first center is our first stitch. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then this is 9, so along this line here is where our eyes will go. And we're going to put our eyes 3 stitch lengths apart. So it might be good to grab your tapestry needle just so you can kind of see the spot you're working with. So I'm going to put that first eye here, but I might move it around if I don't like that placement. Just kind of stick it in there, and since you don't put the washer in the back yet, we'll be able to move it around. So I've got my first one in, and then I'm going to go over 3 stitch places so you can see where all of them meet. That is 1. So you have it in there. You got to kind of fold the felt back to see that next one. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So we want to put our next eye right there. So if we count back, it should take us back to that eye. So 1, 2, and then 3 is where that eye is.